Hey everyone, it's Thursday, July 18th. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I just drove up from the Metro Detroit area to Muskallonge Lake State Park up here in beautiful Upper Peninsula, and I'm about an hour early because I got out of town a little bit early, and I am about to meet up with my ride. They will be shuttling me to Tahquamenon Falls State Park, at which point I will be starting the park to park hike, which is a, 35, 40 mile section of the North Country Trail, starting from the upper falls, Tahquamenon Falls, all the way back here to Muskallonge Lake State Park, and we'll see how that goes. This is not my first time hiking by any means, but it is the first time solo hiking and the first time taking off this much mileage this many days in a row. Thus far, the plan looks to be about 3 miles this afternoon because I didn't know how early I was going to get up here. There's a backcountry site that's part of Tahquamenon Falls State Park that I reserved. So just a short hike in from the brewery to the backcountry site. And then I'll be up bright and early, biting off about 18 3/4 to another state park campground. I forget the name of it. I'll try and put it up on the screen. And staying the night there, and then breaking off another 18 back here to Muskallonge Lake State Park. That's the plan. I've done my research, and I've got plenty of bailout points, and there's several other campgrounds along the way if I don't think I'm going to make it. And since I'm hiking back to the car and theoretically should be getting here Saturday night, if I have to stop short one or both nights, I've got an extra night I can kind of use to hike back to the car by Sunday evening and still get back downtown to Detroit so that I can get to work on Monday. But hopefully that won't be an issue. Feet are feeling pretty good. Legs are feeling pretty good. We'll see. So, more on that once we step off. All right, so I made it to Tahquamenon Falls. Brewery was right behind me. Stopped in there for a nice stout and a shot of whiskey. And now I'm just about to fill up my water bottles, go check out the upper falls, and then we'll head into the backcountry. Okay, so leaving the brewery, went and checked out the upper falls. Pretty cool. Bigger than you'd think, maybe also smaller than you think. Guess depends on your expectations. Good viewing areas, a lot of people. It's gonna happen middle of summer. Stepping out onto the actual trail here, you can see some blue blazes. Trail conditions are extremely good. Short walk in, only like maybe 3 miles. Get set up, get some camp chores done, figure out if we're going to do a fire. I'm going to do a fire, or if we'll just make some dinner. It's real humid. It's only about 80. Tomorrow's supposed to be about 90. That's going to be a tough one. So pretty sweaty already, just from the humidity. Looks like any rain that was supposed to come through either blew through earlier this morning or is going to be later tonight. Keep our fingers crossed. Maybe that'll miss me. But all right, maybe about a 1/4 mile from the falls, maybe not even. Pretty easy walk. Nice little 2-track service road. Coming up to a road crossing here. We'll see what happens then. I forgot to mention just before, had first gear failure. My chest strap broke, pulled right off the little soft fabric rail here as I was sitting at the falls pub talking to the camera. Got up, went to put my gear on, popped off. Nothing's broken, just need to wedge it back on. Probably need a screwdriver for that, so might be hiking this weekend without a chest strap, but everything else is working, and hopefully that's the worst gear failure we have. So just came over that little boardwalk, swampy area, and ran into this, which is a pretty cool little sit-down rest spot with some little chairs, courtesy of the North Country Trail. Look pretty nice. Not really that far in, but as I said before, it's pretty humid, and that view's not terrible. So I think I'm gonna take a couple minutes here, reapply some bug spray, and take a little bit of water. And we'll step out. I think we got less than a mile left to camp. I don't know, it's not long, so we'll pick it up again there probably. Okay, so it's been about an hour and we're here. So we're gonna go check out the campsite, do some chores, get set up, and figure out what we're gonna do for the rest of the night. It's about, I don't know, maybe 5:30, I'm not sure. Okay, so I just got into camp and got my shelter and sleep system set up. It's super fast, super easy. I didn't do any sort of gear review beforehand, so I'll show that now. Shelter, 1-person tent. It is the Dan Durston Mass Drop collaboration. Caught it used on a Reddit board and was really happy with it because I wanted to move away from the 2.5-person that I have for family camping, backpacking with the wife or buddies or, you know, the son, something like that. Because I just don't need to carry a 6-pound setup by myself. So went with this. Really nice. Dual door, dual vestibule. Inside is my sleep system, which consists of a Trekology pillow, like $12 on Amazon, and the Nemo Riff 15, which is one of their spoon-shaped bags, which has a side sleeper. Really enjoy that. 15 degrees. Wildly overkill, but it packs down so small and it's less than 3 pounds. I want to say 2.4. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head. It's what I had. It's what worked. Also, it has those thermal gills, which are like 2 chest zippers right here that act to like bleed off body heat. So I've used it in the past when it's in the like lows in the 50s. I think it might get down that low tonight. Probably not. It's pretty hot and sticky. Pack, if you didn't see it on the walk, is an Osprey Aether 70. Again, wildly overkill for this. It's relatively heavy, relatively massive, but I've got 2 kids under 5. Dad's going to be pack mule for quite a while, so it is what it is. And as much as I'm trying to take the ultralight principles to heart, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that heavy of a pack. Okay, so it's about 6:30. All the camp chores are done. Got my firewood laid out. Should be enough. Did a little mini scouting walk around. There's actually a little backcountry privy, which is a box with a toilet seat on it. No walls, but don't have to dig any cat holes, so that's nice. Took a look at the map and thought there might be some water in the near vicinity, but it turns out it's a little further than I thought and a little further off trail than I thought, and I've got 1.5 liters, so should be more than enough as long as I don't go crazy. More than enough to make dinner tonight and maybe some hot cocoa around the fire, and still have a little left for coffee tomorrow. I'll probably get up, make some coffee while I'm breaking down camp, get out of here as soon as that's done, and then walk for a while until probably until at this point I find a water source, at which point I'll reload and maybe stop for breakfast if I've gotten enough mileage under my belt. I want to try and do at least 2, maybe 4 before I stop for breakfast. 2 before my coffee is normal with the dog in the morning, so at least that, maybe a little more. I am, sorry, a lot of bugs around here. Taking a note out of Shill Brothers Outdoor and having a little happy hour, little Arnold Palmer with some bourbon. Highly recommend, works really nice. And so I'm just gonna kick back, relax. I've been saving Critical Role one shot, The Search for Bob, so I'm gonna enjoy that tonight. Have some Mountain House lasagna a little bit later, and maybe some hot cocoa, and start a fire. Should be about it. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Morning. It's Friday morning, about 5:30. Why am I up at 5:30? Definitely forgot to turn off the alarm that I use for work, because it's set for Monday through Friday. So that was something. Slept fairly well last night. Once I fell asleep, it was hot and sticky, and it was thundering a little bit. Saw one bolt of lightning when I got in the racks, so had the doors shut, and that was not working. I was just laying here sweating. So gave that about 20, maybe 30 minutes, opened the doors up, figured I could zip them closed again if it starts raining. It never did. Cooled off, slept pretty well. Pretty happy with the new tent. I'll talk more about that later. Pretty happy with the new sleeping pad, using a Thermarest X-Therm. No, not an X-Therm. Neo Air that I picked up at an REI garage sale. It was a floor display, I guess. So I got it real cheap. And I think from, a bunch of people having probably laid on it as a floor model, it doesn't have that empty potato chip bag crinkle to it. So was really happy about that. Gonna get up, get dressed, break down the tent, probably start some coffee before I do that. Pound a little coffee, get on the trail. Should be up and moving here pretty shortly, and see what today brings. All right, a little bit before 6:20, we are officially back on the trail. Took a little bit longer to get out of camp than I expected, but we're not really in that big of a hurry. Sunset's not till about 9:30, so we got like 15 hours of daylight to do 18 3/4. So let's see what the trail provides. All right, quick update. Was on the trail for about, 10 minutes. Realized I missed a turn because I wasn't paying attention. Should have had that coffee this morning, I guess, but took a little longer to get out this morning, so I decided to pass up the coffee till I stopped. Had my head up my ass, missed a turn. So a couple, maybe 15 minutes extra hiking this morning. Got turned around, found the trail right where it should have been. Well blazed and everything, just had my head down, didn't
turn at the intersection. So you live, you learn. Other update, managed to fix my chest strap last night while I was sitting around the fire, so that's really nice. Help keep that load distributed properly while we're doing long days today and tomorrow. So let's get some mileage in on the right trail, see if we can't find some water. Just about 7 a.m. Been on the trail about a good half an hour since I made that wrong turn. Views do not suck. Bugs, however, do. I'm gonna put it in gear and try and get somewhere open where I can get some coffee, some breakfast, and some water. Okay, so it's about 8:30 this morning. Been on the trail for about 2 hours. Bugs are starting to eat me alive. But I haven't stopped and reapplied my bug spray in a while. Stopped once when I passed a little intermittent creek, got some water. Pretty dark even after the filter, so going a little sparing on that until I find a better water source. Stopped to treat a little bit of a hot spot blister situation when I crossed the road. Unfortunately, when I did that, I lost my sunglasses. They were pretty cheap ones my wife scored at a conference, so not a huge loss, but kind of annoying. Looks like I'm about 5 miles in, according to the GPS track. In about another 2 miles, I think, I'll be hitting a road, doing a little bit of a road walk. Might stop there for some actual breakfast, depending on the bug situation again. I had a bar earlier. I have some more. Might just grab another one of those if the bugs are too bad and wait till I get to one of the many state campgrounds this afternoon and just eat a bigger lunch, take a rest. Other than that, trail's been pretty good. A little overgrown in some places, a lot overgrown in some places. Walking along this forest road segment and got a nice little view here. A little swampy meadow with some pretty beautiful wildflowers. Not a bad little view. I would stop here, but mosquitoes are still real bad, so I'm gonna keep on moving. All right, so made a little stop a while back, crossed a bridge, was able to scamper down a little bit, fill up my water. We're real happy about that. Grabbed a couple of Cliff bars since I didn't feel like stopping to actually cook, and maybe we'll be stopping here. That is one beautiful, cool looking lake. So we'll follow the path, as it were, and see if there's maybe a picnic table or a beach where there might be a few less bugs and we can take the boots off and get the feet up, if not in some nice cool water, get some swelling down, and maybe take a late breakfast, early lunch sort of stop. Let's see. So it turns out, beautiful view, no pathway down there, no development around the lake, so take only pictures, leave only footsteps, and hungry, tired ones at that. Onward. Okay, it's just about 11. I'm starting to get pretty tired. So while that last lake didn't work out, this one is looking pretty nice. So I think I'm going to set up my chair and make some lunch, take a rest, depending on how I'm feeling, maybe even sit on that log and put my feet in the water. We'll see how that goes, but gonna take a break here on the shores of what I think is Dry Lake. Doesn't look so dry today. See you in a bit. All right, so stop, set up the chair, unzip the pant legs, got a little shorts, got a little breathe going on. Decided to have late breakfast, so got some Mountain House biscuits and gravy there, heating up some water for some coffee, and also mixed up a little fruit punch in my water bottle. Was gonna just
maybe dump the coffee grounds in there just for that caffeine bump, and then realized I'm not in a rush. I figure I'm probably 2/3 of the way through and it's only noon, so we're making really good time. I ain't got nowhere to be. Beautiful scenery here on the lake, so let's just do it. So relaxing, having some tunes, and I'll probably be here for about another 20, maybe 30 minutes. Don't think I'm gonna put my feet in the water. Just lacing up and down the boots is not my favorite thing, but I might lay down for a couple minutes and put them in my chair just to get the blood moving the other direction, that sort of thing. They don't feel too bad. Had that little blister hot spot earlier, and that's my fault. I didn't want to stop with all the bugs to take care of my feet, and that's always a mistake, always. But I was afraid of bugs, kept going, stopped beside the road, had a little blister. Everything else seems to be doing okay. Got some swamp ass, I'm not gonna lie. Hoping that this break will let it dry out so I don't get some diaper rash going. But other than that, gorgeous day. Couldn't have asked for better weather. Got a nice breeze right now, drying me out, and just living the dream.
All right, doing pretty good here. Figured I'd do a little walk and talk. First thing, trail conditions have been really nice. There's been, the last couple of miles, there's been a few blowdowns, but nothing that couldn't be gone around or over. So really wasn't that big of a deal. One spot somewhere between where I came out of Tahquamenon Falls Park and before hit the mouth of the Two-Hearted, or one Two-Hearted River. There's like several of them apparently, things I did not know. Where there was like some weird switchbacks, and it was like, I don't know if it was a trail change or what, and it got kind of confusing, and something maybe was fallen down or overgrown, but nothing that cost me more than 30-45 seconds. The other thing about the trail, I've been looking forward to this for a couple of months now. This is, like I said in the introduction, hopefully, that this is my first solo hike and my first time as a civilian, at least, putting this mileage back to back. So that always comes with a little anxiety, a little bit of excitement. But one thing I didn't really count on is I'm from the UP originally. I grew up in Marquette, and it looks like home. There's a very particular feel to UP forest, and it's this. It's dappled sunlight through scrub pines and various other evergreens mixed with a whole bunch of the same types of undergrowth and just a lot of bare forest floor. And I guess it's one of those things, like people say, smell can bring back memories. The forest up here just has like a feel to it. And even just catching a ride back from Muskallonge to Tahquamenon yesterday to start out, we were going through some of the back roads, and I was just like, man, feels like home. Like, you don't get this mix anywhere else. And I've been in the Lower Peninsula, I was stationed in Washington, spent a little bit of time in Oregon, a little bit of time in Colorado, a little bit of time in Idaho. It's not like this. It's just not. And it's not better or worse, it's just home. So that was pretty cool. Nice little realization. So I think that about covers it for the trail. Not much in terms of wildlife. Seen a couple of grouse or partridge, I'm not really sure. Not a big bird hunter. And scared the crap out of a frog when I stopped to get water, so sorry, honey. Other than that, last night I mentioned, or this morning maybe, that the tent worked out great. It really did. It's a little narrow and it's a little short for somebody my height and girth. I'm not the skinniest kid around, at about 215, somewhere in there, and I'm about 6 foot, not quite 6'1". And so the X-Mid worked pretty well, but if you roll the wrong way, you will bump into a trekking pole. I'm a side sleeper, so when I'm on my side, I don't notice the length issue, but if you were a stomach sleeper, you would be touching the top with your arms and the bottom with your feet, so there is that. The other interesting note is the shape of it is the fly is sort of traditional rectangular, but then the inner bug net sleeping section is a parallelogram that cuts diagonally across the fly. And it does that to maximize room. And so you're not dealing with the trekking poles right where you don't want them to be to get maximum height and, you know, structural integrity probably. It's brilliant. For some reason I noticed, or a placebo effect, I thought I noticed and felt crooked all night. Or rather, I was trying to lay straight and then everything else felt crooked. That very likely just in my head, but wanted to mention it. Slept pretty decent last night, was up a couple of times. But like I said this morning, once I cooled off, I was fine. No scary monsters in the woods. Plenty of breezy rustling noises, but not much else. So it was pretty great white noise. I didn't run into any of the first time fear factors a lot of people warn about, so that was great. I think that's about it. More later, I guess. Oh, maybe not a lot of the walk-in shoots where I set up the camera and then walk through. They look cool, but they're kind of a pain in the butt, and to be real, it's all the same. So maybe I'll pop up a few more pictures or stop and talk when I get to something cool and interesting. Other than that, just gonna keep on hiking. Okay, not long after I just finished that walk and talk, but came around a corner and very excited to see what this is about. It is gorgeous looking. I can feel a breeze coming off the water, and I would love nothing better than to stop and soak my feet if we're where I think we are. So we'll see. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain we're not where I thought we were, because it looks like we're to camp, which was supposed to be about 18-19 miles, and it's not even one. So that I thought we were at the prior lake, the name escapes me, it starts with a P. That must have been the one we passed that didn't have an accessible beach. We're gonna do a little investigating, figure out what's going on, where we are for sure. So this is where we were planning on staying. It's Tahquamenon Lake State Forest Campground. It actually looks pretty nice, but it is 1:45, and I am not planning on stopping and wasting half a day sitting on my butt. I came out here to hike. We're gonna hike. So looking at the map, I think we're gonna shoot for the mouth of the Two-Hearted River State Campground, which is on Lake Superior, which is my first love, and so it would be great to get there. Also, I think it's about 6 more miles. So even if I stop a bunch and slow down to a mile an hour, we'll still get there by dinner time, and the sun doesn't set till well after 9, so we should be fine. So yeah, we're just gonna keep our head down, stride out, and on to the next one. Before we leave Tahquamenon Lake, good Lord, look at that. Oh my goodness. I know that we get a lot of crap for the Pure Michigan tagline, but good night, lights out. Look at that. And the campgrounds are right over there. There's some houses, lake houses on the other side, but largely undisturbed, pure natural playground. I just crossed over that river again, and walking on this dirt road here. As you can see, maybe somewhere back over there, there's a random blue blaze, but I think since there's no trail, I'm supposed to be on the road. Go check. And I don't know if you can tell, but just over that, you can start to get our first little sliver of Lake Superior. So we're getting there. We are getting there. There's an intersection up here. I'm gonna see if the trail jumps there or if I gotta backtrack and bushwhack back to it. But I think we're on trail, so not that worried. All right, just came up a nice little hill there. A little bit out of breath, but worth it. And there she is, the largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area. That part never gets old every time I come back up here. It's just part of my childhood that you can't replicate. Should have that mostly within view for the next, well, for most of the rest of the trip, from what I can tell from the map. So that's pretty sweet. We'll see how long it is before we have to turn inland and put it at our backs. But for now, I'm just gonna enjoy the view. All right, well, haven't filmed much for the last hour, maybe two. A couple of check-ins, but it's really been a lot of the same. So either alternating between some nice soft green tunnel pine forest, or kind of ridge walking along some sandy dunes and looking at the lake. It's been very relaxing. Sand's a little tough on my feet. These boots are, well, I wore them my last tour, so they're at least 2009 old, and they got a lot of miles on them, and they're great for forward and back, but when I get into some of that sandy terrain and slide side to side, it's a little tougher on my feet. So glad to be back in the pine forest. Should be coming up here on the the mouth of the two-hearted campgrounds. It's about, I don't know, coming up on 3 maybe, and we'll check in there, see what they've got going on, and see how far it is. Might keep going. I know there's at least one more campground before. Okay, so that was the mouth of the two-hearted campgrounds, or one of them, and seems fine. A lot of campers. Campers as in like pull behinds and RVs, not campers as in individuals, although it was maybe half full. Probably could have stayed there, been just fine, but it's still early, so I think I'm gonna push on to the next campground. I did take advantage of the water pump and camel up a little bit. It's been hot and it's been breezy and I've been sweating, so I want to stay hydrated. I think I'm gonna have a little snack as I go here. Get a Cliff Bar in me, keep some energy moving. Feeling pretty good though. I think part of the reason I didn't do so hot first thing in the morning was no food, no coffee, and then the bugs, and that was a bad combination. But bugs have been way less since I stopped for lunch, and been feeling pretty good since I ate and had that coffee at lunch, so maybe a couple more calories will give me a final push. We'll see what the next section brings. All right, so it's about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I have been walking on beach sand, roads, and ridge runners, and all sorts of stuff, and the sand and the sun are kicking my butt. According to the GPS, which I don't think is very accurate if I'm being honest, but according to the GPS, we're at about 20 miles for the day. It didn't feel that long until maybe the last half hour. But at this point, we're on our way to, I think, Reed and Green Bridge Campground. I think that's the next one, and hopefully it's soon. I think there's a turn up onto the road coming up here in a little ways, and then a little bit past that is the campground. We'll see, because I could use a little sit down, maybe some dinner. We'll figure it out. All right, so I'm off the beach for a little while, but I'm still on this like sand path. I'm really beat. I've been getting baked in the sun for the last while. I don't know, I haven't really been paying attention to the watch that much. Really moving slower, starting to run out of gas here. Probably should have stayed at the last campsite. In hindsight, took on just a little bit more than I should have, but I was feeling good, and honestly I think I'd be fine if it wasn't for the sand just like sucking my will to live. It's just draining the life out of me. But I pulled up the GPS and it looks like maybe 2 miles to camp. So like I said, it's about 4:45. So I'm gonna be moving pretty slow. So maybe on a good clip, 5:45, maybe 7 at the absolute outside. I think it's one of those self check-ins like the last several have been, self-registers. So I need to get there and sit down, get some more water from the pump, and get my feet up. Plus side, be a really short day out tomorrow. GPS says I've done like 24 miles today, out of like maybe 32, but in retrospect that mileage is way off. There's just no way. I went by the mile markers on the interactive NCT map, and it's just wildly off. According to that, the whole thing is like 41, give or take, 40 to 41. But looking at the segment maps on Gaia and like Hiking Project, looks like it might be closer to 36, so I'm not really sure. But either way, mileage done today doesn't need to be done tomorrow. So I'm gonna try and drag my happy ass into camp and lay down, get some dinner, and get my feet up, and then just sleep. All right, so made it to camp, got the shelter set up, heating some dinner up right here. Tonight's entree is Mountain House Mexican style chicken with rice. Yes. I am beat. There appears to be only one other site in use. So that's something. They've got a couple of ATVs. There's nobody here yet, so who knows where they are. Probably out riding. Honestly, as long as they're not complete yahoos up blasting jams until the middle of the night, I'm probably gonna pass out immediately anyway, so it doesn't really impact me too much. Feet aren't as bad off as I thought. The tape held up. I am so tired though, but thankfully there is a garbage here to dump off everything and a water pump right across from my site. So I will be cameling up tonight and getting my feet up as soon as this food is done, and then getting to bed nice and early. Pretty impressed with my physical ability today, if not my decision-making ability. So 50-50. I think we did about 20 today. I'm not 100% sure. 52,000 steps and 24.7 miles according to the Fitbit, but I'll check the GPS because that's obviously more accurate. But yeah, we got a lot done. I'm hurting, but still feel semi-human. So I'm really looking forward to the short walk to the car tomorrow. I have a site reserved at Muskallonge tomorrow, but with the limited amount of mileage I have left,
if I'm up anywhere early, like before 8 and out of here before 9, I'll probably just get back to the car and jet south and head home. The wife and kids are at the lake house, the dog's at the sitter. I could have the whole house to myself for the night, get to sleep in my own bed, and save some extra mountain house dinner and breakfast for another trip, which would be great. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how fast I'm moving tomorrow, because this may catch up to me. Other than that, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right, it's just a touch after 7:30, and we are back on the trail. Had a good night. Family at the site across from me rolled in about maybe 8:45. A couple of brothers and their kids, real nice guys. And then about 9:30, some guy comes walking up the dirt road looking for help. Apparently got his Ford Fusion loaded up with his buddies, stuck on a sand dune on some old dirt road back here. Had no idea where he was, and they ended up jumping in one of their ATVs and running the guy back, and actually were able to pull him out, thankfully, because they said the guy was like 4 or 5 miles from our camp, and it's the middle of nowhere. So what that dude was doing tooling out here in a Ford Fusion, I guess there's no account for stupid. Didn't film anything last night. Guy had kids. I'm not gonna do that. I would be pissed if somebody did that around my kids. But had a good night's sleep. Got a little bit of rain, but I had the doors closed, so everything stayed dry. Hopefully it'll keep some of this beach sand on these dirt roads a little packed. The GPS just pinged the Gaia app and said I hit 30 miles. So with, I think that backcountry site the first night was about 3 miles in. It means we are probably at about just shy of 27 for yesterday. And then the guys at camp said, according to their GPS, they think Muskallonge is about 5.5 miles, but that's as the crow flies. So I figure we probably got 7 today. Other than one spot on my heel, my feet are feeling great. I didn't wake up with any bumps or bruises or sores. Everything felt really good, actually. So really happy about that. Legs feel good, back feels good, hips feel good. Feet are just a little bit sore, but what you gonna do? So I'm gonna check the GPS here and see where this road ties back in. Walking this range road, it's gonna turn north, and then it should dump right into the trail. Although I will say that the trail as walked and the trail as mapped have not been the same. It looks like it's been rerouted several times off of these range roads and onto more traditional hiking paths. So I'm sure we'll find it. We got GPS, charged everything up before I left, so we should be good to go. Like I said, it's a little bit after 7:30. We got 7 miles. According to GPS, we've been averaging about 2.5 miles an hour. So that gives us there in about 3 hours. That'd be amazing. Be in time to hit the bridge by lunch. But we'll see. All right, just made our first turn onto another little fire road here. But the scenery is pretty cool. It's just like this weird sandy meadow with these ferns and little pine trees, and it's pretty cool. It's a nice way to start the day. Really reminds you why you do this. Get some peace and some perspective, and feel like you're the only one out here for miles and miles. Obviously it's not true. We just left camp less than a mile ago. There are people there, but it gives you that same feeling. So we'll trudge through some sand road and hopefully we'll get some hardball trail here before too long. All right, we're just about a mile out from camp, and we've hit the trail according to the GPS track. Now, as I said earlier, what's on the map and the trail as blazed, not the same, but we're technically on the North Country Trail per the map. I think we're maybe a quarter mile from where I think the actual trail is based on where I saw it cross yesterday. It left the road and headed west, and I stayed on the road heading south to get to camp. So hopefully within the next half mile here, I should see a blaze that'll tell us we're going the right way. I've seen one or two old blazes, clearly not maintained from several years ago, but I know where we are on the map. Shouldn't be too awful to find the trail, and once we get on that, should be in good shape. So we'll see what we can find. Okay, as you can see right there, we have officially hit the trail again. It is way closer to the lake and not nearly where I expected it to be. Sorry, bugs. But we are officially back on the blue blazes, and that has me feeling some type of way. So we got, yeah man, can't beat that in the morning. That breeze is nice and cool, which is good because I was getting sweaty. This trail is not sand, at least not entirely sand, soft, but I'm actually getting a little bounce back from it. So I am one happy hiker. Let's see if we can get some mileage in now. All right, about to turn back onto one of these forest roads, but wanted to show you that. Pretty steep drop off there, but can't beat the views. All right, so it's just about 10 o'clock a.m. on the button, and we've hit the main road, and I'm pretty sure up here I can see the parking lot for Muskallonge. So looks like we have reached our final destination. Pretty reasonable hike this morning, mostly easy, a lot of sand, been saying that a lot, been true a lot. Also ran out of bug spray leaving camp this morning. Huge mistake, couldn't be paying for that for the next week. But feet feel good, back feels good, hips feel good. Shoulders are a little tight, nothing some Motrin won't solve, but really proud of myself and how this went down. Since it's not even 10:30, I'll jump in the car and grab some lunch around the bridge and get home, start some laundry about a day early. And then maybe I'll sit down and put some final thoughts together once I'm back at the house and tack that on to the end, or possibly another video. I don't know, we'll see. Either way, oh, there it is. There's the sign for Muskallonge. So that's the end of this trip, and we'll see you on the next one. Dismissed.